Thankfully, the Bahrain F1 race went off as planned. Bernie Ecclestone was so cool about Bahrain events, it's reported he even joked about having a second race there. I'm serious, he was doing jokes. Sebastian Vettel and Red Bull finally made it to the 2012 P1 podium step, with Lotus racers Kimi Räikkönen and Roman Grosjean joining him for their first time this year. But that's not the podium shot. There were reports about the small size of the crowd in the stands at the race, and this is not a picture of that either. It was hard to understand the truth behind the Shia populace versus Sunni regime fight, the truth versus the PR, the internal motivators for this ongoing conflict versus the outside influencers. Iran kept coming up in the discourse, and yes, the U.S. has a Navy base in Bahrain, so I'm sure it has no influence on U.S. policy, etc., etc. But it was ridiculous to listen to the words of denial from Bernie, FIA head Jean Todt, and the Bahrain government. Reminded me of my favorite snark from past corporate happy talk. I just heard what you said, and one of us is an idiot. Either you think I am because you expect me to buy into that BS, or you are for actually believing what you just said. Either way, we're all kind of f***ed here. The F1 and the FIA clearly made their choice of money versus morality. They just didn't have to flaunt it so badly with their words and photo op pictures all weekend long, or be allowed to be the PR pawn of the Bahrainiac government. And the British politicians who called for a race boycott just in time for the English evening TV news, newspaper headlines, and nothing more, were equally, sadly, selfishly opportunistic. You could say the Bahrain race issue roots all the way back to the first signing of the contract with the devil. But to whom are we referring as the devil? And where do you draw the line on who's a moral partner or not? I've already read your comments about America, and China has human rights issues too. Yes, you could always say you've got to start somewhere, but theory and practice in the modern world are impossibly apart from reality. With F1, it really is safer just to enjoy the racing and not look at the character of the sport, the characters that run F1, or the business practices that make this sport happen. So let's just do that. When we come back from the intro, let's just talk racing, as I wish Bahrain and the world Godspeed. This is Sebastian Vettel winning, the fourth different GP winner in 2012, after McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and now Red Bull. They've done it too. And now everyone is saying Red Bull is back, and here they go with a third championship. Wow. I guess the world mindset really is short attention span. The last thing I remember is the greatest thing on the planet. This is Vettel and Kimi on the podium. And the last thing I remember is this is Kimi beating Michael back to the podium. Kimi drove with motivation, strategy, and a tire management plan starting all the way back to practice and qualifying, where he saved tires for the race. He qualified Q11 by choice, but then he stormed the race field to get to P2 with 2 sets of soft tires that he saved when others were in conservation management mode right from the green flag. More about tires in a bit. And Roman Grosjean sealed a Lotus's for real deal with speed all weekend and a P3 podium finish for himself. But I agree with the tweet that I got from Lakefield 83 that said, this Lotus is still not a real Lotus. And I agree. Sorry, all these recent Lotus branding gymnastics are just a travesty to the great name. For those of you lost to what I'm suggesting, or too young for history, here's a real Lotus. Renault may have dominated the race, sweeping the podium, the first 4 places actually, but it was Mercedes that made all the news and the key points that defined this race. Starting with McLaren and their pit stops. They had problems with the left rear tire change, and it cost Hamilton 18 seconds or more. They had problems in both pit stops. They relieved the guy of his job on that left rear on the 3rd stop. But it's not fair to put it all on one guy. It's a big job, a lot of pressure, and it may have been a mechanical fail as well. Now, McLaren's been giving away too many point scoring and race-winning opportunities this season already. It's cost Hamilton the championship lead, 49 points, to Vettel now at 53. The point is, McLaren still may be the team to beat, but only after they stop beating themselves. Then we have Mercedes driver Nico Rosberg. He kind of made a name for himself, who discovered how easy it is in F1 to block. Twice he tried to run his competition off the track, Hamilton and then Alonso. Just like Michael versus Rubens in 2010. You know, maybe it's something in the Mercedes car. No. Maybe it's the legacy of Senna. You know, I was invited to a Mazda press event at Long Beach to meet with their young drivers. And of course, Senna came up. But these young guys embraced Senna's passing style. They all said it was okay to put the responsibility for surviving a pass in the hands of the other racers. just to make them give up the pass. Just stuff your car in there and wait for the other guy to blink. Wow. And to them, this was all okay in the minds of these young sperm. But help me remember which racer explained to me that in real racing, when a guy like that does it, you have to crash him to make him blink the next time and not you. You know, like Prost did to Senna in Japan. Back to Nico. The travesty is not so much Nico's actions, but the steward's inaction. With Hamilton, the race steward stated that Rosberg made his defensive move in a constant and continuous straight manner, and that Rosberg made his move first before Hamilton. The race stewards continued by explaining that if Hamilton's car had been a significant portion alongside Rosberg, the move may not have been considered legitimate. I'm sure Hamilton is not willing to hear any of that. With Alonso, the same Nico move and the same steward's logic, again saying Rosberg commenced his move in a constant and continuous straight manner, and that no part of Alonso's Ferrari was alongside Rosberg during the incident. So there you have it. In F1 now, just start the block early and make it really deliberate. No need to be subtle like Vettel's turn one feint on Kimi that stopped the pass for the lead. That shit is way too sophisticated in today's F1 of artificial DRS passing and managed race pace Pirelli tires. Alonso had an opinion or two during the race and after. His quote after the race, "I think we're going to have fun in future races. You can defend as you want and can overtake outside the track. Enjoy." And I bet you guys have opinions too. I thought I saw Lewis's car side by side with Nico. I thought there was a leave one car space rule in the blocking rules. And I think Alonso is not the guy to go all ball check with. I can't wait for the next time. Continuing with the Mercedes made the Bahrain news thread, we come to Mike Schumacher, who went off, all off, against the Pirelli tire circus. His quote, "The main thing I feel unhappy about is everyone has to drive well below a driver's, and in particular, the car's limits to maintain the tires." In the US race broadcast, the announcers dropped hint that racers were not racing, but driving around at a managed lap time to conserve tires. Kimi did not go out and qualify to save tire sets. Cars don't go out on track in qualifying to prevent wasting tires. Those one-lap wonder things. Schumi is right. This is not racing, and the passing is rarely real. At least the Nico, Hamilton, Alonso flings were authentic. DRS is a joke to me, and defending with curves makes it all feel moot. Give me the best cars and the fastest racers going all out, and give the fans what they want, real f***ing racing. Makes me wish those Bahrain street barbecues were fueled with Pirelli F1 treads. Hey, maybe that was what the protesting was all about. Okay, F1 is off for 3 weeks, except for some testing. Allows Shakedown to cover some other subjects, other racing out there, and maybe a special or two. We'll see you then.